Okay, boys, look at this. I found this thing with my phone, so I can make cool videos, and I can use the phone's microphone, which is pretty good. So I'm trying to change a little bit the way we play and rotate since I've watched our matches from Cerberus, and I wanted to change something. So if I change something in my gameplay, it's better that you know it. So maybe we can all play together. It's purely about attacking situations. So I have like three situations in general that I will call A, B, and C, but you will help me sometimes because I'm not so sure about what I'm saying and so on. So we're going to simulate that the ball is going on a side. So the ball is going to be white. I'm gonna do it white. So we have somebody here on the right side, basically with the ball. And so we are going to be like, okay, blue team here. Okay, we're gonna be blue team. So you got a guy here, and basically he's player 1. And usually what we have is like a player 2, and we have a player 3 like this, usually. But now what I would like to change is something like, it's actually something that you guys do, but I do it less. It's something like a player 2 ready in the middle to have a ball, and then the actual player 3 would be this guy here. But this guy, this last one that I draw here, would be the player 3, and this guy would basically have to care about the defense area. Okay? And this guy, player 2, basically he would have to care about all this part of the field, and the player 1 then will just try to center the ball, or maybe shoot or pass, something like this, you know. Well, now, so I'm gonna call this like situation A, if it makes sense for you. I don't know if it does, but I'm going to call it like situation A. Okay, so this player 1, this is player 2, and this is player 3. Okay, perfect. So imagine in the situation A, we have one situation which is actually the best, is, so I'm gonna call it, I make it very like scholar, so it's clear in my head, because it's pretty crazy sometimes. So I'm going to call this situation A1. First situation in this one. The goal bows actually I'm not gonna call this A1, just A. Okay, so in the situation A, we have the P1, player 1, who is actually getting successful in doing something interesting. Something interesting means actually he is able to center the ball. So the ball is actually going, for example, the perfect infield or pass would be here. So obviously, you guys know it already. I'm gonna draw the player 2 going to the ball and trying to shoot and score, obviously. So the ball just goes in, and that's it. Okay. Then what I want to care about is, for example, if he cannot reach the ball here, the ball would actually go more like, for example, opposite, or imagine it's even like a ball who's rolling on the backboard, for example, and the ball is going opposite. So the rotation here, pretty simple, but actually interesting. We would have player 2 actually moving this way. Okay, player 2 is going here. So 2. it's a 2. Okay, so we got player 2 here. And player 3 is going to become the new player 2. So it's actually going to be player 1 there. In top, it's going to be player 1. Let's call it player 1. It's a 1, yes, super 1. And then basically you have the player 3, but where does go the player 3? And usually we make it go this way, but I think it doesn't work. In general, it doesn't work. So maybe it's clever from us to do something like player 3 can be getting aggressive and player 3 goes there instead of the player 2, and player 3 becomes the player 2, okay? But then what about the rotation of who was the player 1? I think here the player 1 just rotates opposite to the ball. So opposite to the ball means the player 1 is actually staying on the right side because the ball is crossing on the left, which is pretty obvious, but this guy can just go back. Let's say he goes back, or he can be ready for whatever. And I think it's pretty basic situation here. And okay, it can work because, for example, the player 1, the new player 1, I mean, is actually getting the ball, and he can try, for example, to center quick for player 2, and player 2 can actually come and score. That would be idealistic. Then we have actually the situation where the player 1 might miss the ball or something like this, and then we can talk about the situation B. But I'll have to transpose the situation B on this situation. So that's basically the situation A. It's the most simple one, and it's the most instinctive for us with the current rotation we have, because I think everybody is agreeing on this. It looks like more or less already what we're doing from now. Okay, now I'm gonna clear this all, and I'm gonna jump onto what I want you to call situation B. So same setup obviously, otherwise we can't compare the situations. We got a player 1 here, we get our new player 2, pretty aggressive, and we have basically our player 3, which is still in backup but following on the side of the ball. Okay, now let's imagine the player 1 is not like in the situation A, he's not successful in doing the pass or getting the ball opposite, but actually he kind of loses the challenge, or the ball actually is going to go behind him. So the ball goes here, behind. The enemy has pushed the ball or got the ball, whatever the power. I mean, it's going to stay more or less on the right side. It's not a big boomer for us. It's not a big boomer for them. Then, what I want to talk about is this new thing that I think can be the rotation. You have, imagine here, like I draw this white arrow, the ball is rolling on the wall, okay? Because the enemy, I'm going to draw the enemy was here challenging me, and let's say they have a back post and so on. Their player 1 has pushed the ball over me, and the ball is naturally rolling on the wall, okay? So the ball is going on the wall. What I usually do as a rotation is something like, okay, I try to go there, taking a demo, and then I try maybe to starve the boost, and I try to replace, and so on. But this is actually very long, and in this whole time my teammates have time to make a play, and he has time to miss, and he has time maybe to take the ball again, and I'm not even back on the middle. So I think this rotation is a little bit too long, and this rotation is even risky Because, for example, if you go for the demo, it means your teammate must score if you open the net, because you're slowing down and you're taking the long way to go back home. So that's the risky offense, the risky attack, when you are getting very aggressive. So I think now I'm gonna stop slowly to do that in certain situations, okay? Because I hear you already. Like, I'm not gonna change all my playstyle, but I think this can be a little bit risky. And for example, if it's 2-1 for us, we don't need to take this risk, this extra risk, for example. So I will have a more safe rotation and quicker rotation. What I mean by that is, first I take off this blue stuff here, and it's like, remember the ball is rolling behind. Imagine I'm player 1, okay? I am Michelaki's player 1. The ball is rolling behind me because I lost the challenge. It's rolling on the wall. This detail is very important. Then my rotation would be this one, going there. Why? Because if the ball is going on the wall, I'm not going to be disturbing my teammate. The teammate number 3 can go on the wall. See, I don't know if we can see correctly my new dots. Okay, the player 3 can reach the ball on the wall, so I'm not disturbing if I'm rotating this way here. So okay, and what about the player 2? Because he cannot stay here and just lose speed and wait for the pass for player 3. So what I suggest is basically, you can do a little turn like this. You turn on yourself and you're ready to face back in case player 3 is losing the challenge, but you're also getting ready to turn again in and get the pass from your teammate if the teammate, player 3, gets the ball to you. And I think that's a very interesting one, because whatever the opponent do, we can have now more like Greg and Gold, covering options. Okay, that is different from really covering options in what he was talking about. But I mean, in the offensive, idea, we have many possibilities. It's more complete if we do so. So, well, up blue team. Okay, that would be very interesting for us to do that. And again, if the ball, for example, crosses on the left side, etc., then we can try to apply the situation A. But I'll try to go more in detail later on this, or maybe another video, because I'm not just so sure about it. I want to see if it's possible, because sometimes we have a good idea in theory, but in practice it's so long and the way is so big and it doesn't work. We need more time than just like for driving we need time, and here it's just drawing some lines, so it's not the same thing. Well, that would be this for the situation B. Actually, this one was the situation B1, because I have situation B2, which is more a little bit different. So I'm going to, that will be easier like this. So now let's go on this situation B that I'm going to call B2. It's just a little detail, but that can go differently, So in this situation B, I said that the player 1 is actually losing the challenge. We haven't still the aggressive 2, and the 3 is like backing up, But the 1 is losing his challenge, but this time the ball is not going on to roll like this on the wall like previously, but the ball is staying in the area and it's actually going like this way. It can roll, sometimes like this. And this one obviously is not for player 1, okay? Player 1 cannot do anything. So the player 3, the backup guy, is still going to be ready for this ball. So basically, look at the player 2. player 2 can, exactly like before, get ready to get back, or he can just turn around to receive a pass. And the way you turn around like this just is a solution for you to maintain speed. Okay, so if player 3 gets here and gets to the ball, he can pass you, and the player 2 has the speed to catch the ball. Okay, he's not like stopped, which makes a lot of sense, I think. And if actually the player 3 has a 50-50, obviously the player 2 would not be positioned for being a solution, but he would come back to be a support, obviously. Okay, but the most important for me here is the rotation of player 1. As I said before, I used to go there and try to take a demo and etc., get the boost, and then it takes some time to come back. Doing this is the long way, and for example, it's for me the risky way, but it's very efficient. For example, if we're losing 2-1 and we need to score, then you take this risk. I'm gonna call this a risk. You take this risk and you go get the demo. But when you do this, it means first you fucking get the demo. Actually, I fucking get the demo because usually I miss them. And if you get the demo, it means the pass from the player 3 to player 2 has to be almost perfect, and the player 2 has to shoot on target and fucking score. And that's like the risky play. I take the big rotation, but it's like, you know, I'm not really gonna rotate. I just take a player out and we gotta score. So otherwise, if we don't score, we are getting exposed to a risk because player 1 here has a long rotation and so on. And we've experienced this a lot of times, and when we don't score on those, it's hard for us because we then have to stop a counterattack. And we know when opponents are counterattacking us, it's not our strong point. So imagine the game is, for example, 0-0 or 1-1, or we even winning. We don't need to take this extra risk, you know? We can just wait for their mistake, and we don't have to force the demo, actually. So as a player 1, if the ball goes exactly like this, rolling on the middle, the best thing is probably to just... Wow, it's not what I meant to do. Am I blue here? Yep, it's the first time I use this. Player 1 can just go back there, you know? And this way, he can be here, and he will not have any bad influence on the game, because he cannot bump his teammate number 3, because obviously the teammate number 3 is going to the ball, and he cannot like save the ball or do whatever. Then the only problem would be, for example, if player 3 is losing the challenge, that player 1 would actually need... No, it would be good. He would rotate like this. So it would be good, and player 2 would have gone there. So it would work. I'm pretty sure it's very interesting. Then I need to study it in real cases, but I think it's interesting. So that's why I think the player 1 can just be ready here, you know? And then I'll need to study more about new situations if we don't score on those. Like I will call like B3 and B4, but I haven't studied. Like for example, the player 2 is actually sending the ball here or here. I need to study it, or even backboard, for example. I need to study this more in details. I'll do that after. But I wanted just at least to give the general idea about this mini rotation. So if you see Mitch actually not taking this wrong rotation, it means I'm already adapted to my new way of thinking, which would be this one. Well, very interesting. And there is only one thing that I didn't quite figure out yet, is that it's pretty much the same, but not too much the same. You know, it's like yes, no, yes, no. I'm not sure. It's like you don't really know. You got player 1, you got player 2 who was ready for a pass, or even going left side if there is something, and player 3 is in backup, whatever. And there's a 50-50 with a guy, and actually the ball is just staying here. The ball is not taking any big direction, you know? The ball is just staying here around, and P1 cannot do anything anymore, you know? He just got a 50-50, but he has a dodge, and the dodge just makes him going here after. So the ball is just rolling here, but it doesn't have any speed, you know? So I think it would mean that I can't delete. I think I cannot delete. Okay, never mind. It would mean, sorry, that the player 1 does not exist anymore here. And basically player 1 is out, and they might have control of the ball, because don't forget they are all in defense, so they're way closer than us to the ball, so they can basically start to go for a counter attack. So I think if we go in those situations, which we would actually call situation C, the ball stays there and he's getting stopped. I think for us we lost it. We lost this offense and we can't do anything else. If the orange guy pushes the ball there, then okay, it's good. We can come back to the situation B, and this guy here, the player 1, would just rotate here, and the player 3 would try to get the pass here. Okay. But if it does not happen, if the orange guy is very good and he can control the ball, I think we just can consider that we lost completely this offense, and there is nothing we can do than just this guy is really rotating, and he's not doing the mini turn like this to try to get a mid pass. No, he's really rotating out big, and this guy is waiting for player 2 to come, and then he can challenge. And this guy then, he has to rotate the long way. Actually, long way would be middle like this, but not too long like this. I think it doesn't make sense. Or maybe he can get the bump here, but I'm not sure it's so interesting. It could be, but again, it could be risky as well. So I'm not so sure about it. But I think in situation C, it's like an offense that completely failed. The ball is just standing here, and they have the ball. And in theory, here it's very easy to recognize it. But in game, is it so easy to recognize that the situation B is so different from the situation C? Because most of the time it's a matter of 1 or 2 seconds to understand if they really have control, or if the ball is actually going here, and it changes everything, because we can still get possession, and this player 2 would still be able to receive a pass from this guy here, and that's getting messy on the board. Sorry. Well, I think you guys get the idea, and if it's not clear, I'm glad I made this video like this, so we can talk about it a little bit later. Now I'm gonna study by myself the other situations, you know. For example, I mean the situations where I had for example the situation A, and there was something, the ball was going opposite, and we had rotation, and this guy went here, and this guy went here middle, and this guy went rotating, and then the new situation would be here a whatever AX, and we have the new situations, for example a pass, another pass, or he loses the ball, and what we can do. I'm gonna study this right now, okay? I'll make another video, and I hope you guys enjoy this, and I hope also you can agree on the things I'm saying, because I think for now we have a super good rotation, but our rotation is really, and especially mine, is really going circle. And I think if we do it a little bit differently, like the ball is going circle, but we rotate a little bit, as I would call it, in the bad sense of rotation, I think we can be more efficient. Because now I think we miss many opportunities where we have actually a player here, and we have a player here, and we have a player here, and when there is a center, we have this guy going up, but he's far away because he was in backup, and he's getting beat, and the opponent sends the ball away, and this guy has to go, but he's getting beat, or he has to wait, and etc. This guy has to back up, and we don't have a lot of opportunities. So I think we need to create a little bit more opportunities without forgetting to cover everything. So that's why I made this video, and I think it's very interesting. I hope you will agree with me, otherwise I'm gonna cry. All right, I cut with this one.